Hello, everybody. This is your friendly neighborhood 9FP, and welcome back to another general overview video, which we will be looking at one of the last two between ISTJ and ESTJ, which I hope to be getting out there. So let's talk about the ISTJs, who I consider to see the masters of order and organization. To throw out what I mean is, if you've ever seen MLP, look at Twilight Sparkle. I believe she is the quintessential ISTJ in a lot of children's cartoons. But moving on from there, ISTJs are typically fairly organized people. They want to know the 5 W's, the what, where, when, why, or is it the 4 W's and 1 H? The what, when, where, why, and how. There's 5 of them anyways. And, oh wait, no. It's who, what, when, where, why, and how. There we go. As such, the way I do my videos and have things set up would probably annoy a great many of them, and they'd probably like to set things in order in my surroundings. Because that is typically what they enjoy doing. They enjoy having things set out in an easy to recognize way, an easy to get out way. They lead, much like other SJ types, they live. Why was I going to say leave? They live mostly cleaner lives, more organized lives than the P counter types, such as myself. They have a sense of loyalty to them, like outside of their organizational skills, which are some would say for some of them to be like God tier. Aside from that, they are also very loyal, and this is probably due to their fine nature and all of that. They are a very... People often view them as sometimes stuck up or very no-nonsense, and I think that's a unfair assessment to give to ISTJs. They just view life in a very different way, and they have enjoyments in very different ways. ISTJs will go out drinking with you. ISTJs will potentially go to a party with you. ISTJs will do a lot of stuff that you may not have thought an ISTJ would do. ISTJs are... There's a saying that says, work hard, play harder, or work then play. ISTJs would much rather have their life in order, their things in order, everything in order, their work in order, before they go out and play. They have this, I guess you could call this, diligence about them that allows them to focus on their work and their livelihood first. And then after that, if they have any spare time, which they will likely schedule in, if there's anybody out there who has schedule books upon schedule books for each given year, I'd say it's probably an ISTJ, although I wouldn't put it past an ISFJ, ESFJ, and ESTJ to have those as well, just maybe in a different way. ISTJs are people who tend to take orders from others, although they can be leaders and bosses themselves. It's just they prefer to be in the background, helping you set things right, helping to make sure things run smoothly, helping to make sure you need to get to be where you need to be on time. They are what could be seen as wonderful personal assistants, secretaries, accountants, anybody who has to deal with a lot of small details and organizing them. ISTJs tend to thrive in those surroundings. Now, this isn't to say that ISTJs can't be in the more artistic pursuits, which they can be, and a lot even are. Like, you have ISTJ movie actors, you have ISTJ fashionistas, you have ISTJ models, you have all these people who are in the arts, so putting someone in a set place isn't exactly the smartest way to go about things in the personality world, especially since that limits a person who could have interest in so many ways. It's just, how do they go about those interests? An ISTJ will also go about in their interests, will make sure things are organized, things are going a certain way, that they've met. Like, for example, movie stars, they will memorize that script, they will practice out that script multiple times, they will make sure they know all the rules based around the script. They will actually be very diligent in trying to get everything they can into that thing so that they can, in their view, properly act it out. And this kind of goes the same way with a lot of the things that an ISTJ does. It's just that giving the actor example was, I guess, one of the easiest for me because that's what I understand. I understand the effects of having to memorize a script. I understand the effects of having... It's a tedious thing. So, going on from there, ISTJs have this way, like, I personally don't understand it, but ISTJs, due to their loyalty and due to wanting to be usually in the background and wanting to help you out in the background, much like an ISFJ will. And there's a lot of similarities between an ISFJ and ISTJ. Comes from the fact that any type that shares their first function will have a lot in common with the other. So an ENFP will have a lot in common with the ENTP, INFP with the ISFP, which is why those types can get confused because that is what you're seeing. You're not necessarily always seeing the secondary function after the first. Or sometimes you are with introverts, but I digress. ISTJs will have a lot of research done into whatever it is that they're going into first. They will want to plan, they will want to present the goals, they will want to look at the pros and cons, they will want... As the more details for an ISTJ, the better. There is a joke in MLP Friendship is Magic where, and I quote...
Are you kidding? Twilight can find a rule book for everything!
Yeah, that. ISTJs are the people who literally can find rules about almost anything. Not that they'll necessarily follow all those rules, but they like to know what those rules are, and typically they tend to follow a lot of them, and a lot of them have this kind of, from at least what I've noticed with the ISTJs I've met, is that a lot of them have this little quirks. Everybody has their quirks, but ISTJs have their quirks that focus around things that help them organize or things that help them figure out details. They'll have this little thing that they do that helps them I got this. No, I don't got this. Placing things in a order. The cat's caught my tongue, apparently. And this can mean that you'll see ISTJs with color-coded binders. Or those little sheets. I don't know what they're called. ISTJs and other people are a lot more familiar with this than I am. Even ISFJs are extraordinarily more familiar with this than I am. But when you look in their binders, they've got this like little thing here, and then they've got another little thing. They're kind of like, I want to call them labels, but they're not actually labels. They're like label markers or something like that. I honestly don't know what they're called because I never use them. They have their binders coded. They have their textbooks coded. If a teacher is wanting to find out certain information, ISTJ will be right there with that information because of how absurdly organized and everything in order it is. It's honestly amazing. Now, this, of course, can cause the unfortunate thing where an ISTJ may be seen as a teacher's pet, because a lot of them typically have been, not all of them, but a lot of them, they have been seen as people who want to know what the laws of the land are so that they can follow them to the best of their capability. Not to say that ISTJs won't speed, because let's be honest, everybody speeds. ISTJs are nowhere near exempt from that. Now, a lot of people may say that ISTJs do not come up with ideas or have a hard time coming up with ideas, which is simply untrue, because ISTJs are also the ones who have come up with a lot of games. And you can't exactly come up with a lot of board games and other such games if you don't have an idea. Now, they could get the idea off of somebody else and they just like set up the rules and the order as to how the game is supposed to work, and they'll know the in and out of the game. That's the thing I wanted to talk about. An ISTJ is somebody who knows the in and outs of whatever it is they're passionate about. They aren't exactly the people who are jacks of all trades. They are the people who are kind of like the master of one specific trade or master of a few specific things. They'll dedicate their attention to the thing that they know they're good at, the thing that they know they love, and anything else, it doesn't matter. Now, if they need to learn it, sure, they may go and learn it and learn the ins and outs of it and spend the time to do that. But typically, they are comfortable being in that select niche of what they have been focusing on. If you want somebody to go and help you out in something, find a master, and usually a lot of the times that master will be a ISTJ amongst, other types who focus primarily on one or few things. They aren't somebody who has their hand in 1,000 different cookie jars. They'll have their hand in one cookie jar and they'll master that cookie jar. With that being said, ISTJs are also people who know how to have fun, but they would rather have that fun in a more, I guess, relaxed way, not in a woo party, yeah. Although I'm pretty sure there might be some ISTJs who do that, but I have yet to see one. What else to say? ISTJs are just they're often joked about, when this is kind of like in the sad kind of way, they're often joked about being the people who, I guess, are rigid and can't go with the flow. It's not that they can't go with the flow, and this is actually the thing I was trying to get into, is because people view them as rigid. They don't understand that it's not that they're rigid, it's just that they haven't been given the chance to try it out themselves. ISTJs, like ISFJs, will want to try out that new thing first. It's not that they're opposed to new things. They have knee in their structure. They like new things. It's just they want to know whether or not it will work. They want to try it out for themselves. They want to know if they're going to be comfortable with it. They want to know if they're going to like this new way. They want to test it for themselves before they adopt it. So it's before you go and say, oh, ISTJs are rigid and don't know how to do or don't want to go and do anything new things, it's far more likely to say that they haven't been given the chance to try that new thing themselves and were just thrown into it, and that's where their rigidity may come from. Not that they necessarily dislike it or whatever, or would have disliked it. It's just they were never given that chance to properly ease into it with like an understanding that an ISTJ has or has to go through before they embrace something new. So for example, in a workplace, if they're doing things one way and they've always done it the one way and they will continue to do it the one way, it's not that they'll always do it the one way or will continue to do it the one way, because if you do show them a more efficient way, they will test their way with the more efficient way, see which one works better, see whether they like it, and then usually they may even adopt the new way if they like it enough. It's just that they're so used to the one thing that they don't want to go into the new one without trying it first, without testing it. So yeah, that is my review, or not review, my overview of ISTJs, and I will see you guys for the next video. Bye bye.